and welcome to another Life in Lockdown series with me, Michelle Hammond. I'm absolutely delighted today to be joined by the incredible woman that is Kathryn Moore of Spa Connectors. Kathryn is also, of course, living life in lockdown and joins us from Dubai. Kathryn, welcome.
Thank you.
So Kathryn, start us off with telling a little bit more about who you are. We know obviously you founded and the managing director with Spa Connectors. Tell us a little bit more about Kathryn as an individual.
Great question to start with. Look, my passion is very much about giving back to the industry, and it's probably a little bit detrimental at times in terms of the viability of my business. But I started it because I really wanted to make sure that therapists, managers, anyone on the ground was able to be given the opportunity to make a real go of it and make a real go of their career, because I feel like we don't give enough back to our people. We don't train them enough. We don't give them the tools to do their jobs correctly. And you know, I was in a role prior to starting my business where I spent probably 50% of my day really just dealing with people, and it was recruitment and training related. And I could see the benefit of me putting my time and energy into them, and the reward was massive. So for me, yeah, I love the industry, and I think I get off on being able to help them. And this current pandemic situation, it's heartbreaking to see the amount of people that are sadly out of jobs or can see their businesses crumbling.
Yeah.
And we're kind of helpless to do anything. So yeah, that's where I'm sitting at the moment, trying to rack my brains of how do we help everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is just such a challenging time, isn't it? As we talked about briefly before, it's so unprecedented, and obviously, you know, it's sort of hard to imagine it's happening. It still feels very surreal, but of course, you know, people are really starting to sort of feel the pain of it now, and what it means for them, both short and long term. So I hope we'll see an end more. How long have you lived in Dubai, Kathryn? How long have you been based out there?
So yeah, that's a good question. I get asked that a lot. I've been here on and off for about 10 years. Probably the last 2 to 3 years I've been here about 70% of my time. The rest of the time is more in Asia, in Bali. Prior to that, I was in Bangkok for nearly 10 years. So yeah, I would say my home is Dubai now, and probably because of the opportunities that are here. We're in the middle of everything. Most of our clients are Asia, Middle East, Europe, Indian Ocean, Africa. So really, I'm quite central here, and being able to travel to all those regions. And also so many projects are coming out of the UAE still. So
yeah,
being great to be based here.
And where's home? Where's roots? Where's the actual birthplace?
Yeah, I'm from Perth in Western Australia. My parents are still there. My brother's there. Well, he goes between Greece and Perth. Long story.
Interesting.
Yeah, he has a restaurant and a nightclub.
Okay.
So he's a little bit like me, an entrepreneur, a bit of a jack of all trades. My parents, I do feel a bit sorry for them having to do it like that. My sister's in Melbourne, and she's the normal one of the bunch. But yeah, so yeah, Australia. So when I was in Bali, I did used to get back home quite a bit. Yeah. It was only a 3-hour flight. But yeah, sadly, being stuck here now, my family is a long way away. So Zoom has been quite amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where technology really kicks in, isn't it? Has been able to still keep people sort of connected. So normally prior to life in lockdown, so I realise all of our lives have changed massively over the last few months, but what normally would kick you off to start your day? How do you normally get yourself into the right frame of mind to sort of deliver an amazing day for yourself?
So usually I didn't have much routine, to be really honest. I would be traveling probably 2 weeks of the month. So I was always somewhere. And I would say probably the last 6 months, I've really tried to make a conscious effort to be based here and have a bit of routine. I think from my mental stability or standpoint, I've needed to just calm down a bit and stop being on a plane. It was getting to a point where I wasn't loving it all the time, and I just I wasn't getting the same buzz from flying everywhere and, you know, getting a new deal and all those sorts of things. I wanted a bit of stability. And actually really started enjoying doing Pilates every day. So I signed up to a Pilates place in my house. Started doing that every day and really liked getting a bit of normality. I haven't had a normal life for about, well, when I was with Minor, I was also on a plane for probably 2 weeks of the month, and I was with them for 8 years. So yeah, probably the last nearly 15 years I've been traveling non-stop. So I haven't really had a normal life. Like, I've got great friends all over the place, but you know, I'll be like, oh, I'm in Bangkok, can we catch up with that group? So being here and being able to spend more time with my friends and just be a bit normal.
It's important, isn't it, as you say, for your mental health, just to have that bit of stability and that foundation to kind of leap off of. How small, just that little bit of consistency.
Isn't it? I think also just from a productivity perspective as well, for me, like, my surroundings are important, and I've lived like in friends' spare bedrooms and couches and out of a suitcase and all that, because having my own business, like, it's really tough. But you know, there's months where you know, I'll take a new project just to pay the bills, and it's tight. You know, we've always had a big team, and when I say big team, we usually sit at around 10 in the team. But you know, I've always felt the need to have a good, strong team across the board, whether it's training, recruitment, operations, marketing, etc. But it's important that I have a strong foundation in my team to be able to deliver what we do. And so, you know, it's tough having your own business. Especially in our industry where people don't always value paying for training or recruitment or consulting. Then people don't always pay their bills, pay them on time, or pay them at all. So I've had a good few years of being a little bit transient and staying on friends' couches and so forth. So that doesn't necessarily always help with productivity. So finally, like, having a place to live in Dubai now has actually really helped in terms of being able to make sure I've got a clear head and I can get work done and be productive.
Amazing. But as you say, it's a sacrifice you have to make to kind of live your dream and sort of put it into action, isn't it? But you know, it's
so totally. I mean, I could complain on a daily basis about the whole thing, but I chose to put myself in this position. I chose to start my own business. I choose to carry on every day in it. And the pros definitely outweigh the cons. But there's definitely days where I'm like, oh God, what am I doing?
The duvet, please just put that duvet back over my head.
Yeah, exactly. I really do have a number of duvet days.
And you said you started Pilates now. What other hobbies and interests normally engage you? What are the types of things you like to do outside of work?
I hate it. So if I go on like a date or something, and a date would say to me, so what are your hobbies? Absolutely have no hobbies, because all I do is work. Ridiculous. So I would say Pilates is now a hobby. I like to cook as well. So this actually has been really good with this whole lockdown thing. I've really started cooking more. So.
I did see some Indian food from you recently.
Exactly. I was so proud of that.
It's amazing.
I just Googled it, and some friends came over and we knocked together an Indian feast. But cooking, I suppose I really enjoy. And I mean, if I had a bit more time, I like going out on the water. I like doing paddle boarding and swimming and things like that. And I'm on the Palm in Dubai, so when we finally are allowed back in the water, I wouldn't mind doing something like that. But I really have neglected those sorts of things. I mean, I've been actually on my list of wanting to get my my PADI diver's license for years. I still haven't got around to it. So maybe one day I'll do that.
It's on the wish list. List. What makes you laugh? How do you kind of let go? What are the things that
you know what I've been doing lately? It's so sad. I downloaded TikTok, and I have been just watching TikTok for hours. I'm not kidding. The world has gone bonkers with TikTok. It is the funniest thing. I guess the fascinating part of it is human behaviour and just what people are creating in their own houses, because they're all in lockdown too.
Yeah.
And it's just fascinating. And so funny. I've just been laughing my head off at it, and annoying my friends as well. I just keep forwarding like all of these videos to my friends. They're like, "Can you just like calm down on the TikTok, please? Like, we've really had enough." So yeah.
So TikTok is it?
Yeah, it's a bit sad. But
I love it. Well, but as you say, at this sort of time, everyone's kind of, even some, Dame Judi Dench is even doing sort of like, sort of.
Oh no, I saw her. Yeah. Oh God, everyone under the sun is on TikTok, and they are doing some really stuff.
Which is fascinating, isn't it? You just think actually some of it's really funny, and as I say, some of it's just a bit like, ooh, a bit scary.
Yeah.
Step away from your channel.
But people share so much, and it's like an insight into people's heads.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that people actually want to share, and I think also it's probably a result of the fact that everyone is locked in their houses, and we're all communicating differently now. Yeah. So they're wanting to share their feelings through this medium, and it's really interesting.
Yeah.
And funny.
We're all going to go and spend the afternoon looking at TikTok now, see what's on.
No, I look at my watch and I'm like, oh my God, I've just spent an hour on TikTok.
I love it.
There goes my productivity.
Yeah. What we know, obviously, what you do for a sort of living. What's the best part of what you do? What's the bit? I mean, you've said people obviously, really kind of resonate of what you get out of it. But what's kind of the essence of why you do it?
To be really honest, I get so many different things coming to me every day. It's exciting. I do the World Spa and Wellness conventions, which I love. I love being able to bring new content to the industry and to our audiences. So being able to come, because I'm always coming across various people, which I'm sure it's for you, through social media, etc. I'm being introduced to people and finding fascinating things that people are doing, and I really love that I can then bring that to audiences and then to our industry, and thinking outside the box. So being able to say, hey, this person's doing this in this industry, this might work in ours, or this person is quietly doing something in the middle of Africa or whatever, and it's working really well there. Why don't we look at this for other parts of the world? And I love that. I just love probably the business aspect of it, and people coming to me and saying, I've got this brand, or I've got this product, or I've got this whatever. What do you think about this? And connecting people up. I mean, probably half my day is spent connecting people. And I really love being able to do that. It sadly doesn't pay the bills.
No, I know.
But I'm a firm believer that at some point it will all come back around, and it will be worthwhile in the end. I'm sure it will.
No, I massively believe that. I think if you give, you always get back sort of tenfold, don't you? And so if you're connecting people and stuff like that, that's priceless, isn't it? It's a real gift to be able to do that. What challenges you most about what you have to do?
I would say it's probably the feasibility of what I do, to be really honest. And it's not just myself, there's other consultants within the industry. What we're trying to do and what value we can bring to the industry is not always valued. Very hard to sometimes make people understand the worth or the value, as I said, to what we bring. And getting them to understand why they should potentially fight for the money to pay for, whether it's consulting or training, recruitment or whatever. I find that the most challenging part, and probably spend a fair bit of my day lobbying people and trying to educate them and get them to understand, why they should invest in their people for training, and why they, what's the value of using a recruitment company. and why they shouldn't do it themselves. And whilst I feel like, we are moving forward a little bit, it's not, we don't really evolve enough in our industry, I feel. Where the money goes and the investment goes, it's in, technology. It was interesting. I was reading some articles the other day, talking to some investors. All they want to do is invest in point of sale platforms. And that's great, but we just did a comp set analysis on point of sale systems. There are thousands in our industry.
Yeah.
Like, do we really need more? Like, where we need to automate things is more towards the operation and the management and recruitment and training and all those sorts of things. It's not about let's just go stick more money in, selling products online or a point of sale system. I think we've got things a bit backwards. And whilst I don't mind being the one to, I guess, well, it's not just me, there's plenty of people out there fighting this battle, and I don't mind doing that, but it just at times does get a bit tiring. And when you are trying to pay your bills and trying to pay your staff and, trying to actually live a life that's not crap, it's challenging.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably one of the biggest ones. I just wish we were a little more forward thinking about where we put our money in the industry.
And let's hope this time for reflection enables people to look and reflect on where those priorities sort of lie. When you do get stressed or angry or upset of a situation, how do you normally deal with those types of emotions? What do you do to kind of move through that sort of state?
So I used to be very, very fiery, very, I would say volatile, maybe is a little extreme, but I would fire up if the occasion required it. And it wasn't really a management style that I liked or was proud of. And over the years, especially since I started my own business, I really realized that whilst I was a good leader for sure, and there was a lot of things that I brought to the table that were great, that part of it was not good and wasn't going to help me moving forward. So I very much started working on myself in looking at how I manage my emotions and how what could I do to kind of just, when something cropped up that was going to make me crazy or whatever, what do I do to kind of diffuse it and to move that? And things like meditation, as much as it sounds like a cliche, I do it a couple of times a day. It has changed my mindset completely, calmed me down. I think probably age has also helped.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's just calmed me down, mellowed me out so much more and made me a lot more mindful of how I behave and how my emotions can affect others. I've done also a fair bit of work. I've done my NLP practice course, and I've done some non-violent communication workshops and things like that to try and really understand not just my own communication but others. And I just think those sorts of things are so important. And being on myself, I do a journal daily. Mostly it's a gratitude journal, but it's very much around like positive manifesting. And yeah, it's really quite honestly helped me to be a lot calmer about things that would have stressed me out and made me crazy before. I'm just very much like, everything will actually work out okay. There's no point in wasting the energy and going crazy over this.
Which is amazing, because at least, as you say, you've recognized it. I mean, as you say, age helps, doesn't it? We have, the older we get, the more we realize what's important, what to let go of sort of easier. But by recognizing the emotion and sort of dealing with it, that's great. And great, as you say, I'm a massive believer too. I wish, particularly with therapists, we talk much more about coaching and NLP and human behavior than we do, because it's such, we're a people business like no other, aren't we? So actually these kind of conversations and emotions are so critical to sort of everyone's sort of well-being. So if you could do any new hobby, I know you said obviously hobbies are limited, but if you could do any new hobby, what would it be if time and money weren't an issue?
Probably would be something water related. Probably diving or something. I don't know.
Paddle instructor.
Yeah, I don't know, just something that's a little bit more active and out in the nature or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know you've probably traveled the world 100 times over, but is there anywhere else you haven't been and would want to go? If you could go anywhere that you haven't been already?
Where do I want to go? I haven't done much of South America. I
Okay.
wouldn't mind doing that. But I think there's more places that I would just like to go to again. I mean, I used to travel a lot for work, but you don't really get to explore it a hell of a lot if you're there for work.
Yeah.
I loved Morocco. Absolutely loved it. I went a couple of times, but I could go back there and spend heaps of time there. Wouldn't mind spending a bit more time in Europe, actually. Did a few trips there recently, probably in the last few years, for work conferences, and just sort of thought, why do I spend more time in Asia? I need to spend more time in Europe.
Yeah.
So, probably. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, well, I'm with you. I think Greece and places like that are amazing. There's so many beautiful
I do love Greece. Yeah, I could definitely. I've never been to Croatia. I wouldn't mind doing Croatia. That looks quite lovely.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I don't know. I honestly I need to have that actual proper holiday. Having my own business, which I haven't been there, look up my list. Well, it's a requirement that the funds go to other things.
Yeah.
So yeah, that should be a priority after this.
Absolutely. A proper holiday, no work, no scouting anything out, just downtime. Yeah, amazing. Are you normally early or late as a person?
So this year, and my friends are laughing at me, this year I'm trying to be on time, like really making a conscious effort, because I hate it when people are late. Yet I always seem to be 7 minutes late. I have no idea how it works out that I'm 7 minutes late, but I seem to do, I must procrastinate, and it's 7 minutes. So I'm really trying my absolute hardest to be on time.
I love it.
Because it's rude. It's absolutely rude for other people. I think respecting other people's time is very important. So.
But I love the fact that if it's consistently 7 minutes late, your team probably automatically always schedule you 10 minutes later in your appointment without telling you anyway, don't they?
Oh, I know. It's just so bizarre though that I'll be running late, and then I'll say to someone, yeah, it's probably going to be 7 minutes past, and then I'll look at it and I will actually have got there at 7 minutes past.
I love it. I love it. I love the accuracy. What's the best single day on the calendar for you?
Don't have one. I like Christmas.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, actually, no, that's a lie. I've got a good one. So my family has a farm in Western Australia, and they have an event every year. Not my family, but there's an event on the river that the farm's on, called the Irrational, and we all go, family, friends, 100 people or so, and we put on a big barbecue, lamb on a spit, music, all that sort of stuff, and it happens every year in the first weekend of August.
Oh, mate.
I always look forward to that, because you get to see absolutely everyone. So yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. What website do you visit the most? And I know now probably has changed massively in the last 3 months alone.
I would probably say Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm getting a bit annoyed with all the sponsored ads on there at the moment. But I would say it's probably Instagram. I mean, there's the most.
And what keeps you up at night? What are the things that kind of stop you sleeping?
Paying my bills. Probably paying my bills and just things that I haven't got done, or waking up and going, oh, I haven't done that, or I should have done that.
Overactive thoughts. You can come back as any animal you like, or you can be represented as an animal. What would you choose to be?
I think a lion.
Nice. I see that. It's there. What's the furthest you've ever been from home?
Oh, well, I've been everywhere, so I don't know. I guess the UK is pretty far from Australia.
Yeah.
Both the US, I would imagine they're probably both fairly far. I don't know the exact.
Wherever the point, a bit like Nigel when I was talking to Nigel, wherever the furthest point from home is.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I've been to some cool places that felt like it was a long way on a plane.
Yeah, felt more remote. Amazing. You can go to your favourite restaurant. Lockdown's over. Where are you going? What are you ordering to eat and drink?
I'm an absolute foodie. Like, I am obsessed with food. So it's very hard if anyone ever asks me, like, what's my favourite food or favourite restaurant or whatever, because I love all food. So I would say, if I was here, I definitely like Greek or Lebanese. There's a couple of really good ones here. But honestly, I just like to be able to be in a chilled environment where you can just hang out and have a nice glass of wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too over the top. So it's nice to obviously dress up and go out, but yeah, just somewhere nice and good food, and that works for me.
Yeah, the ambience plays such a big part, doesn't it? What's your favourite fragrance?
I am a big Byredo fan.
Okay.
And also Diptyque. So I mix between Byredo Balda Afri, and the Diptyque one I wear is Vetiver. Yeah, they're a bit different, but I really like them.
Nice. Your favourite book, magazine, or paper? What's your go-to type of?
I just read business books really, and self-help and things like that. One that I always recommend to people, and I think really changed my perspective in doing business, was How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Okay, yeah, classic.
Yeah, I think I would say, and it's interesting. So I think when I was working at Minor, I didn't purposely do it, but I built up my network quite well, and it's very much helped me since then. Obviously, starting my own business. And it's so much about how you treat people and how you are able to create rapport and create influence and so forth. And I can't remember even when I read the book. I think it was probably when I was at Minor. But something about it just had a profound effect. And whenever I'm doing talks to students and things like that, I'm always telling them to go and read that. And then also, just, I guess, books like Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
I like it because of, I'm a big believer in the power of positive thought and making sure that you're able to think in a positive way, and you'll be able to essentially manifest whatever you want. And it has, like, seriously worked for me.
Yeah.
And some people believe in it, some people don't. I don't really care, but it's worked for me. So I don't like to sound like the sort of person that I'm harping on and trying to convince people to join my cult or but I I just firmly believe in that you can attract what you want into your life if you really believe it. So yeah, probably those sorts of books. I don't really read enough anymore.
Well, I think if you're going to read anything, they're not too bad places to start. I think Napoleon Hill's one of my heroes, so I think people like him, they're incredible. And as you say, whether you believe it or not, I think the manifestation, the evidence of this.
Yeah.
And we know that from a wellness point of view, irrelevant of whether it manifests your dreams and goals, it definitely massively helps your health and physiology. Positive.
Yeah, I wish people really understood actually how beneficial it can be. Just even being grateful for small things on a day-to-day, and just a habit that you can get into just by being grateful for the little things, that then the way that then creates momentum in the rest of your life to bring in these bigger things. And it's not necessarily material stuff, it's just good momentum, that good things just keep happening. And yeah,
incredible power of a mind that we have, that we can't tap into enough. What are you singing out loud to at the moment? What's your go-to song to kind of open up?
There's a song I keep playing over and over, and I found it on TikTok, and I think everyone loves it. It's super cool. It's something about if the world was ending, you'd come over and something. So it's really lovely. If the World Was Ending, by J.P. Sachs and Julia Michaels. Go listen to it. I got it on Spotify. Yeah.
I'm going to play that soundtrack after.
Yeah, you should. It's really lovely, and it's just makes me think. Just kind of, it's almost like all bets are off at the moment, and it doesn't matter like who you are or what you are or what issues you had with someone beforehand. It's kind of like we're all in the same playing field right now. We're all in this together, and it's sort of let's just be together and help each other, and don't worry about all the
amazing. Let's hope we can hold on to that learning sort of moving forward, and that sort of levelness of kind of human connection, because that would be pretty beautiful, wouldn't it? TV program have you binge watched recently?
I think I've watched nearly everything on Netflix. I saw a post by someone, I think it was some celebrity, who said, I've finished Netflix. I was kind of like, yes, I understand that. I've done loads of series binge watching.
I think Netflix have probably done the best out of this, haven't they?
Yeah, I'd like them to bring out some new stuff, please. I really like crime shows. I'm like obsessed with Law and Order. Probably the last 20 years I've watched Law and Order to death, and I'm waiting for the new series to come out. But yeah, I watch anything from like political dramas to Real Housewives to whatever.
Whatever's on, especially now. What's your favourite film of all time?
Someone asked me this the other day, and I was like, oh, that's a hard one. I had three. Silence of the Lambs, which I know is also a little bit weird, but I don't know, I always loved it. I watched it first when I was about 12. Heathers, I don't know if you ever remember that movie. It was an American movie. It was really cool. It had Christian Slater and the girl Shannon Doherty and Winona Ryder. It was a really cool one. And Love Actually. It's my Christmas feel-good love movie, which I watch every year.
It's nice. So it's good to have those types of movies, isn't it? That you can just, they're familiar. It's like cookies, isn't it?
Exactly. They're schmaltzy, but they always make you smile, and it makes you think that everything's like all right in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. That consistency. What irrational fears do you have? Do you have any?
Actually, I always thought that I was going to die by being blown up by those gas tanks, like round gas tanks that you see on like the back of, well, maybe it's in Asia. They carry them around in the back of like trucks and motorbikes and stuff. For some weird reason, I've always had this thing where I thought in my head I was going to die by being blown up by one. I don't know where it came from or why. I've never had any issues with the tank or anything like that. It's always been in my head.
And do you find yourself deviating from anyone when you see them with one in the back? Or?
No, I just see it and I just think, oh, I perhaps should not be so close. I really don't know. I haven't seen any out here. Maybe they transport them differently out here. But Asia, they carry everything on the back of the motorbike.
Yeah. When I lived on Bali, I remember seeing like a guy with his wife and his children and their stuff, and I was just like, oh, that was my first day arriving. I was like, oh my God, how do you actually see? In fairness, they did really well.
I know, totally, yeah.
You get through. Where do you go to totally relax when you are stressed, or you just need to kind of feel like you're in your safe place? Where is that?
Probably my house in Bali gives me that vibe, and just like chilling and having a glass of wine. And I would say it's having a massage, but usually of late I start thinking about things when I'm having a massage, or I'm thinking about how good the massage is and what they could be doing to improve it or something like that. I just think for me it's a bit silly, but it's knowing that it's where I could be anywhere, but it's knowing that I've kind of got what I'm supposed to have done that day done, and that I can just then like relax and have a glass of wine, or relax and watch TV or whatever. I kind of set myself little things where, you know, if I have done my Pilates for the day, or if I've done all the work on my checklist, or I've eaten properly or whatever, then I can have a glass of wine and just relax. And that kind of for me is just my chill. And
amazing. Yeah, well, I think it's brilliant if you carry it within you, isn't it? Because then actually it doesn't.
Yeah. People have always sort of said, you know, where's home, or you know, where would you rather be, or whatever. I'm not really that sort of person where I have to be somewhere. It's more about like who I'm with, or you know, how I feel mentally, really. So yeah, so as long as I am happy in myself and happy with the environment that I'm in, or I'm with good people, like that's really enough for me. And I try and surround myself with great people. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Always key. You can go away, you can put one thing in your beauty bag. What must come with you? So cool to just say one thing, I know.
I don't actually have a lot of things in my beauty bag. So my skin, bizarrely, until just last year, used to break out like all the time. And it's just suddenly not breaking out anymore. So I try and keep it really simple what I use. I just use like a really basic facial soap. And I use actually a really great serum from Clinical. It's like a pro healing serum. Unbelievable. Like since I was like,
such a cult following, don't they?
oh my god, so it landed here maybe a year ago, and I started working with the distributors, and I put it into a few of my clients' projects, and yeah, I mean, I think you could pretty much just survive with soap and that.
Yeah, I have so many friends that have had like problems with skin, actually, that have just said, you know, actually the real confident women that have just said actually it really disables them sometimes. They're on the school playground, they're going into an important meeting, and they're self-conscious, their skin in their 30s, 40s, 50s, they don't want to be, and they've gone on to IS Clinical and boom, they're just like never changing from this product.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't recommend it any highly. It's been amazing.
Yeah, amazing. It's lovely when you find something like that, isn't it? That kind of really works for you. At the moment, I know we can't, but if you could have any spa treatment or experience right now, what is your
really massage? So I decided that I was sick of my yoga and Pilates 2 days ago, and I decided to run up and down the stairs of my apartment block. So I did 11 floors 5 times, and ended up hurting everything, including my neck, and then had a headache for 2 days. And all I wanted was a massage. And so everything is shut here. And there's one company that's doing mobile massage.
Okay.
And they're not available till Friday. So I was lying in bed for the last 2 days going, oh my God, my neck, I need help. Couldn't get a massage. I'm sure I probably could have found someone and got them to come in if I really had tried hard, but it's still irresponsible in asking people to do that sort of thing in this current environment. But I like a really good massage. Oh, a massage from Jari Manari in Bali. I don't know if you've ever been to Jari Manari, but it is like the world's best massage. And I've had a lot of massages. This is the best.
I love it when people are like, yeah, it's this type of treatment and it's this person. It's just
it's done. Have you ever heard of Esalen style massage out of the US?
Yeah.
So they trained it's based around that sort of style. So it's a lot of kind of movement and stretching and so forth, and it's only done by male therapists, and it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable massage. And it's so reasonably priced as well, like $40 or something for 90 minutes.
Well, that's the thing in Bali. When I lived in Bali, and I got so used to having reflexology every day and massage and my yoga instructor every morning and all this beautiful stuff. And then I came back to sort of set up in Europe, and I was like, oh gosh, 150 quid for an hour.
Room shock, isn't it? Being, especially even in this part of the world, like I usually get my hair blow dried. It costs $20 or something, in actually probably even less in Bali, and here you're getting close to around $100 for blow dry, and it's like, oh, it's not fair. But anyway, third world problems, really, isn't it?
Proper third world problems. Who inspires you? Who kind of drives you to kind of keep going forward, or who has inspired you most in the past?
So my parents are unbelievable people. Like, they are just incredible. They're so, apart from the fact that they've both had incredibly successful careers, they are just so inspiring. They're so understanding. They've also supported me in this endeavor that I've been going through in the last few years. You know, like the ups and downs that come from being an entrepreneur, they're always there when I want to give up, and they don't always understand exactly what I do. So they're like, whoa, Mum's got into Facebook, so she's kind of starting to understand what I do. Dad definitely doesn't understand. He wants me to make some money. But they just instilled in me values of like working hard and, you know, having the right ethics, the right values, and yeah, they're absolutely my everything. I would be nowhere without them. From a work perspective, working for Minor Hotel Group was probably the best thing that has ever happened to me. I started as a spa director for 2 properties and was running the spa subsidiary, M Spa, by the time I finished. And it was through the entrepreneurial culture and the opportunities that they gave me. I mean, I put my hand up for a lot of them. I kept saying, give me more. And a lot of times they were like, calm down, like, you know, just do your current job for a bit longer. And I'm sure I annoyed them immensely. But the tools that they gave me and the training that they gave me, the opportunities, I'm sure it was partly because I would just get on with it and give it a go, just even though I didn't know what I was doing, I just gave it a go. But because it was such a culture of do that, get on with it, you know, we're there, we've given you some parameters, but just go and get on with it. If you are entrepreneurial, you can really fly. And for me, the things that I got to do and learn were just amazing. If I hadn't have had that job, there's absolutely no way I'd be able to do what I'm doing now, nor would I have the connections that I have. That just the understanding of business and like the commercial learnings that I got, oh, amazing. Bill Heineke, the chairman, the founder, he shaped so much of me and how I guess thought and worked, and watching him as well as a leader, watching him as an entrepreneur, it was fascinating. So yeah, I've been really lucky to have just some incredible mentors along the way, just people that have been willing to help me and given me the leg up that I've needed, or the just the advice or the introductions or whatever, and just been there for me. I am so incredibly grateful for that. So yeah, I could go on forever about the people that inspire me, but yeah, I've been very lucky in the people that have come across my life.
Well, that's incredible. And as you say, it's beautiful if you can have it from both directions, from a home, values being brought up by parents that encourage and empower and inspire you, but also then see it in the workplace, because that isn't always the case for many people. Amazing.
Oh, but I mean, that's actually what drives me now, is that I was given so many opportunities. Like my parents, the opportunities they gave me, it's now my duty to pass them on to other people. It's my duty to make sure that these kids out here now are given the same thing. And it's not even just job opportunities, it's from a mindset perspective. My parents instilled in me that I could do anything I wanted, and they don't have anyone doing that for them.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do, and that's what I do. So,
which is amazing, and it's, and again, an incredible gift to sort of be able to do that, to empower anyone to see opportunity and to take possibilities that are there. What's the worst and best piece of advice you've ever been given?
I guess, does it have to be work related?
No, not at all.
Probably the worst was I had a best friend who I had feelings for, and I think he had feelings for me as well. And I had a friend who I shouldn't have listened to, but the friend said to me, "Don't get involved because you'll be the rebound." He'd just broken up with someone, and we were like best friends, and actually would have been amazing. And I didn't do anything, and I really, for some reason, listened to her, and just, I think it was just fed by, insecurities or whatever. And I never said anything, and just actually found out recently that he had felt the same way, and who knows where we would have been if I had just followed my gut and not listened to someone else. And yeah.
Hope for a change in circumstances moving forward, or
no. It's done now. But it strongly makes me realize how important my gut is and following my intuition. And every time that I haven't, I've really, really regretted it. And this was 7 years ago or something that all this went down. But it just makes me think, as much as it's great to have feedback from other people, you really have to trust your own intuition.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. Amazing. And the best advice?
I'd probably say it's something along the lines from my parents about, just trying and just keep trying. It's tenacity, don't give up, just keep trying. And I think, so many things have happened in my business. So many things happened when I was working. You get knocked down, you get back up again. And I think I remember a colleague saying to me when I was at Minor that I was like Teflon. And it just, I'd get hit with something and it would just like bounce off or slide off or whatever, and I just keep going. And that was really like my parents. You just don't give up. You just keep trying. And for me, it's never about giving up. And I don't know whether that's actually always a good thing. Maybe sometimes you've got to quit while you're ahead, or you've got to what is it, flogging a dead horse?
Yeah.
You've got to stop. But no, giving up is not my thing.
No, and I think you're right. And combined with those two bits of advice you shared there, I mean, not giving up, but also trusting your gut, I think they're not a bad combination.
Yeah, exactly. If you can manage to fine tune the two.
Yeah, amazing. What's the most memorable gift you've ever been given?
Oh, I can't think of one.
You must have been showered in gifts over your life.
with my life and always like being somewhere and traveling somewhere, no, I don't really get a lot of gifts, to be honest. Last year I had a bit of a crappy year. A few things had happened just before my birthday. I had a motorbike accident in Bali, and it was just a really bad year. My team were amazing and sent me cake and flowers and everything to my house in Dubai, which was really nice. But yeah, in terms of memorable gifts, I'm sure there are some, but I can't really think of anything at the moment.
Well, I think that's not a bad place, is it? Knowing there's people around that love and care about you and want to send you flowers and cakes and stuff like that. That's a good place to start. They say everyone has a book inside of them. What would yours be about?
Probably probably just about my story and my life and kind of what I've been doing and why. And I guess probably more along the motivational side of things, what people can aspire to and become that's important to me. I wasn't always overly academic. I didn't really love studying, but I always was very driven, and I think we put so much on people having, multiple degrees or whatever, and that's great. I mean, studying's brilliant. I mean, I'm all about training and giving people qualification, but I don't feel like we don't always put enough emphasis on the experience that people have and helping people take their experience and put it into tools that they can use or make them understand the value of that experience. If you look at Bill Heineke, he started his company when he was 17, and he was always about surrounding himself with people that were smarter than him. And there are a lot of famous entrepreneurs that say the same thing. I think it's only ego that stops us from doing that, and that's one of the smartest things to be able to do. So yeah, I would say if I was to ever do anything like that, I just want to share like the message that people can be whatever they want to be.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you're a therapist from Australia or the middle of Bali or wherever you are. Like, that doesn't mean that that's what you have to be for the rest of your life, and that you're sending all your money home to your family and you have to spend your life doing that. You also have the ability to be absolutely anything, and just because you haven't been taught that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be. And I think that's really what sort of message I would like to get out there.
Yeah, amazing. And that's what many people need to hear. What's the bizarrest or craziest thing you've done since living life in lockdown, apart from start Pilates? And
well, no, I started Pilates before lockdown. So what's the craziest thing that I've done? I moved house and moved it all in a shopping trolley.
Did you really?
Well, it was the building next door to this building.
Okay.
And I was trying to save money, so I just and it was a furnished apartment. So admittedly, it wasn't like I was lugging a bed on a shopping trolley, but I went back and forth multiple times with everything, my whole life in shopping trolleys.
That's a great way to keep yourself grounded and humble.
I took a couple of pictures and I was like, oh God, like if anyone could see me now, just with my mask on, my glove, my gym gear, and I'm just like back and forth and it's about 37 degrees here now.
Right.
So it's not pleasant. But crazy. Oh, I went for a swim in the beach the other night with a friend, and we're not allowed to, and the police came.
Oh, really?
Made us get out. I don't know whether that's crazy. Well, we could have probably gone to jail.
Yeah, I was going to say, in many places in the world, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. But actually there, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty crazy. I think that's pretty up there.
It's hard to tell because there's some articles are saying that beaches are open and some were saying they're not. And so we were trying to say that we were okay and we were allowed to, and then they weren't having any of it. So we're like, all right, we'll just get out. Yeah, but otherwise, honestly, I've been here, just working and cooking and
Yeah.
drinking wine.
I know that feeling, honestly. I'm like, I so have to just cut down because Mondays and Sundays just merge now, don't they, as well? So I'm kind of
Oh,
like, we have quite a good routine and be really good at only drinking towards the end of the week. Now I'm like, I don't know what day I'm on.
no, totally. I've got people like, what day is it? I'm like, no idea. Absolutely none whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the biggest lesson you've learned personally since life in lockdown, do you think?
Um, I think it's okay to feel down and not okay all the time.
Yeah.
So, I've had to, and I probably haven't been great all the time with my team as well. Fortunately, I've got some really strong managers in my team as well that are helping everyone. But like all of my team have gone through different phases and emotions throughout it. And my team were all over the world, so everyone works remotely. There's a few in Bali that work together, but otherwise everyone else works remotely. And so we've been doing remote working forever anyway. So it's
Yeah.
not really different to us. But the fact that they're locked in and can't go out and maybe are not with their family or their boyfriends or whatever. Um, they've all been going through stuff, and I'm the same. I've been going through stuff, and it's about like trying, I guess, realizing that it's okay to be going through stuff, and it's okay to not feel great all the time, and it's to give myself a bit of a break, and it's okay to give my team a break, and if they're not feeling great at the moment, then you know what, it's not the end of the world. The whole world is going through the same thing, and it's not just like, oh, we're working from home, so whatever. We're going through a global pandemic. It
Absolutely.
is affecting people mentally and in different ways. So, you know, just calm down and realize that it's all right if I have a day where I want to be in bed and watch TV and eat crap food and do no work. Fine.
Absolutely.
So that's, yeah. I'm quite hard on myself. I make myself feel really guilty if I don't do enough or deliver enough or whatever. So it's just kind of, yeah, really been trying to give myself a bit of a break.
And it's so important, isn't it? You said it earlier for your productivity as well. I mean, you know, it's like pushing water uphill, isn't it? If you're feeling crap and you're not in the right mental mindset, for whatever reason, you know, trying to get through your to-do list is, you know, it's just not productive. You're better to just walk away, do something else, and then come back to it when you're ready and you're able. And it does take a lot. And I think there's lots of pressures and reasons why we all get into those sort of mindsets. But I think actually just being kind to yourself and all the time, irrelevant to a pandemic, but particularly in the middle of a global pandemic, it's critical, isn't it? And I think that's, for me, that's the beauty at the moment, is people are recognizing that vulnerability and humanness in all of us. I mean, I always say, you know, I'm famed for my Amy Winehouse moments on the kitchen floor. I'm a really optimistic person. I see everything as like the glass overflowing. I'm a child in a sweet shop. But I have moments where I don't, sometimes I don't know why, and other times it's completely understandable of why I feel like it. I just have moments where I just want to burst into tears, or I want to kill someone,
Yep.
scream out, and think, actually, all our emotions are valid, aren't they? And it's just recognizing why they're there and what they are. And sometimes it's just sitting with them. Other times it's trying to work through them. But actually, that's us being human, right?
Yep, 100%. But I do think, and what you're just saying there is 100% a valid point that needs to be more widely recognised and that people are okay with. I mean, obviously, it's Mental Health Week this week.
Yes.
So many people are already starting to be a little bit more, I guess, educated about mental health issues. But even just things like what you said, you know, that's normal. You know, it's normal that we all feel like this, and so it should be more talked about or accepted or what have you. If someone needs a day off because they feel like crap,
Yeah.
then
Take the day off. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's an important lesson. Yeah, I hope we're all sort of learning more. And as you say, sort of Mental Health Awareness Week helps us bring it all to the fore, but there's still a lot of work to be done. People still see it as a weakness, don't they? Or as a vulnerability they mustn't share or show, or that they worry there's repercussions if they show it to the next time they're then stronger and feeling better. And so there's definitely more work to be done. Last question, Kathryn. What, as an industry, as a wider wellness industry, do you hope we're now going to do more or less of as a result of what we've hopefully or collectively learned in lockdown?
I like the collaborations that I'm seeing. I like that people are working together. I don't think there's a massive change since like pre-COVID. I think our industry is pretty good with collaboration, but I do feel like we've people are more easily accessible at the moment. So being able to just have a conversation with someone on Zoom that you may not have ever been able to have had access to before is actually possible now. So I like that accessibility and that collaboration and so forth. So I hope that we can continue those sorts of things. I like the online versions of everything to an extent. It is a little bit of information overload, but I like that we're realizing that we do need to, I don't want to say automate, but we do need to utilize technology in a better way in our industry. What we're seeing now is the fact that something like this can just ground our whole industry globally, and there's really no way out of it. The only ones that are doing well are potentially skincare or makeup deliveries from online platforms. And, you know, it's a challenge. Like, how are we going to get around this, like, moving forward? If COVID's here to stay forever, obviously we are going to need to find a way to live with it. But, you know, what else could come our way in the future, and how are we going to future-proof this industry? Because it's always going to be about touch and looking after people's wellness and well-being. How are we going to do that with an industry that's so much around touch? So I think we need to really have a good think about that. What worries me a lot is how ill-prepared so many businesses are or have been with this whole pandemic. And I mean, I wouldn't say I'm in a better situation at all myself, but a lot of these salons and spas and so forth are not going to make it through, and they're not financially prepared, nor do they know what on earth they can do to get themselves through it. And that worries me. How can they be helped to understand their business from a financial perspective? A lot of people start these sorts of businesses because they've worked in them. It doesn't necessarily mean that they know how to manage them properly from a business perspective. And they may lose everything that they put their life into. So, you know, how can we make people understand the importance? I mean, I suppose this whole thing will make them see the importance, but, you know, what can be done to make them realise that they should be spending money on contingency plans and having things in place for if something goes wrong. I guess we never thought that this would happen, or something that could affect the globe so terribly happen. So yeah, so I just hope that we look at the industry and say, you know, what areas could we improve on, you know, and how can we, I guess, future-proof it. I don't know if we can, and I don't know who has the answers, but I suppose it's us having conversations about it and trying to look at how to do it and how to make it happen.
Amazing. And I think you're absolutely right. Collaboration and communication has got to be the way forward, because we are so connection driven that you know, those two things have got to come sort of forward. Amazing. Listen, Kathryn, we could spend all day. Sort of, there's 100 more questions I'd love to ask you. But honestly, I'm so grateful for all of your time. It's such a joy.
No, thank you for asking me. It was amazing. I loved it.
Fantastic. Well, delight to see you, and hopefully as lockdown lifts, we can all get back and sort of start some sort of normality, and hopefully you don't travel quite as much and have that kind of purpose and productivity sort of from home as well. But
ideally we'll have Professional Beauty in London in October.
Yes, hopefully.
There you
That'll
go.
be amazing. And I'd look forward to seeing you there. Amazing. Lovely to
Thank
see
you.
you. Take care. Thanks.
Thanks so much. Bye. Bye.